Probably the biggest thing I see across like all of my clients is failure to plan ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So I always ask them, do you have a car? Okay. Are you saving for car maintenance on a regular basis? And most of them
Mm-hmm.
say, well, kind of, sort of, I've got $30 over here. It's like enough for a set of windshield wipers, but not enough for an
Yeah.
oil change.
Mm.
And so you work on that. This time of year, the big one is Christmas.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Ability Podcast. I am your host, Nick Earhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. This episode of the Infinite Abilities Podcast is brought to you by the one and only Infinite Toolbox, where just like all other toolboxes, we will get the job done, guaranteed. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to save time, boost revenue, or automate your processes, Infinite Toolbox has got you covered. With powerful tools designed to drive leads, expand your reach, and gain your industry secrets, we help you work smarter, not harder. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Visit us at infinitetoolbox.com. That's infinitetoolbox.com, and discover how infinite your potential really is. So today we have a previous guest. This is Stephanie, and she was number 57 on the podcast. But I brought her back because we really want to talk about her coaching business. So let's get into it. Stephanie, can you tell us a little bit about your coaching business, since last time we didn't really get to that very much?
So I am a coach for neurodivergent people, so people with ADHD, autism. I've had a couple of clients with bipolar, and I help them figure out their financial goals, learn how to make a budget, and then ultimately help provide accountability to get them to stick to that budget so that they can reach those financial goals.
Awesome. And that's super important, for everyone. But I really like that you're helping the neurodivergent community with that, because, sometimes finding help like that is hard. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're out there doing that. And then, you're setting them up for, success in life,
Mhm.
because like we all need that little guidance to learn about finances and everything like that. So if you want to just kind of elaborate on that a little bit, that would be awesome.
Sure. So I often get asked, how did you get into like neurodivergent clients? Like, how did that happen? And it happened
Mm-hmm.
kind of naturally. At one
Mm-hmm.
point back in 2022, I looked at the list of clients that I'd served up to that point, and all of the ones that I really enjoyed working with. And it turns out that they were all either self-diagnosed or actually diagnosed neurodivergent
Mm-hmm.
in some way. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, I guess we are doing this, aren't we? And I changed all my marketing strategies, and Berman Budgeting Basics, oops, it's over there, is my business name. But you'll find me on social media at Your Neurodivergent Money Coach instead. And that was just too
Awesome.
long to stick right there. So I tried, but I couldn't get it.
Yep.
And so one thing that I hear a lot from my clients, like when we're just getting started, one of the first questions I ask them in their first session is, so why did you decide to work with me as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
somebody else? And they're like, well, you are neurodivergent like I am, so you understand a little more how my brain works. And
Yep.
I kind of laugh when people say that because I hear it almost every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually disagree with them just a tad, because everybody's brain is different, but people who are neurodivergent have a few more challenges than neurotypicals do. So,
Yep.
as a neurodivergent person, I tend to be a little bit more patient with my clients and more willing to be flexible and give them what they need. A lot of neurotypical coaches will approach their coaching practice and say, okay, here's my coaching package of 6 months, and here's what we're going to cover in meeting 1, and here's what we're going to cover in meeting 2, and here's what we're going to cover in meeting 3. There's no way I could pull that off with neurodivergent clients.
No,
I love when you're shaking your head because you clearly know what I'm talking about.
I do.
So I pride myself on being flexible and giving my clients what they need, while at the same time pushing back on them when they think they know what they need, and I know what they need isn't actually going to work like the way they expect it to. So, like for example, I had one client who I started working with her in April last year, and one of her parents passed away in June. And so we didn't know that was coming. They weren't ill or anything like that. It was just very sudden. And so she ended up taking some time off coaching, like, and not even really off completely, but we didn't meet quite as frequently as we had been. And then we probably spent the next 6 months, she would come into her session with me, and we would spend that whole hour categorizing transactions from the previous 2 weeks. That's all we did for like 6 months. And so, but that was okay with me because that was what she needed in that moment. You know, I met with a client this morning who she's like, I know I haven't categorized my transactions and, you know, for the last 2 weeks, and I know we were working on that last week, and I really don't want to do that today. Can we do something else? She wanted to look at her budget, and I'm like, well, really, with the system we're using, your budget is worthless unless you're caught up on your categorizing of your transactions. So guess what we did? We categorized her transactions, but we got her, at least for that one account that she uses most of the time, we did get her caught up. So hopefully moving forward, it'll be a little better. And I've given her some other tools that hopefully she will be able to keep caught up now. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've had 2 neurodivergent clients myself, and it's just week to week. You know, we all have different needs. You know, I feel like whenever you're a coach, you know, a lot of things can't be like a set schedule. Like, you can have your coaching program where you'll cover this, and this, but you have to make it, you know, suit your client. So I always just go week to week, and whatever my clients are struggling with, that's what we cover that week. You know, and it works out so much better, and you can help your clients a lot more. So I'm so glad to hear that you do the same thing.
It's the best way, like you said. I mean, it helps them make sure, you know, at least for like budgeting, where it's like a skill that they're trying to learn. It really helps to cement what they've learned and what they're working on and how the process works. And so, like, by the time that one client that I was talking about, you know, all we did for 6 months was categorize transactions. By the time she was mentally able to move on from doing that, and she was getting to the point of, you know, categorizing transactions between meetings and stuff like that, she had a really good grasp of how to categorize transactions. So now she knows how to do it, and I don't have to remind her, hey, you know, this is how you categorize a transaction, because she's got that skill down, and now we can move on to other skills that are a little bit more challenging.
And I'm glad that you actually sit down and do it with the clients. You know, you're not just teaching them or telling them how to do something. You're taking the time to do it with them. And, you know, that's how we all learn, is like we have to do it, and we have to do it over and over and over again. So it's really cool that you're doing that.
Thank you. I have some clients that, you know, catch on faster than others, but that's just the same. Like I said, budgeting is just a skill that we all need to learn, and some of us will catch on faster than others.
And I will say myself, I'm not the greatest at budgeting, but I make it work.
Well, if you want to tweak your system, give me a call.
I know who to call. I definitely know who to call. That's awesome. And then, you know, when it comes to finding your clients, what's the most common thing that you're doing?
Ooh, that is a good question, Nick, because I'm not really doing anything to find clients right now. And I've actually signed less
That's
clients this
good.
year than I did last year. But honestly, I'm okay with that. Like
Mhm.
I I'm a follower of Jesus, and I know that
Same.
he will take care of me. And he knows my story. He knows my struggles. Go back and listen to Nick's podcast, episode 57, if you want more details on that. And it's been such a trying season of life right now that I'm just like, okay, God, if you want me to have more clients, you're just gonna have to bring them to me. And so, like, somebody will schedule. Like, I have social media. Like, I've got Instagram posts, and they go up on a regular basis and stuff like that. But as far as like doing workshops or going to networking meetings, even online ones, I'm not even doing that at this point because it takes so much of my energy to do that. And I'm like, no, I need to conserve my energy so that I can heal, so that maybe I can serve even more people in the future. And I'm just trusting that God will bring the clients he wants me to have when he wants me to have them. And so far, it seems to be working. So, like, he's dropping opportunities in my lap. I'm actually speaking at the International Conference on ADHD in
Awesome.
No, not 2 weeks, 10 days. And yeah, I think I fly down to Anaheim on the 13th. I speak on the 14th. I'm doing a pre-conference workshop with a friend. He's an ADHD coach. And we did a similar presentation last year. So that was fun. So we'll just, now do a slightly tweaked presentation, do it again. And so last year I got 3 clients from doing that. So, and 2 of them weren't even at the presentation. So, like, one
awesome.
mom was at the presentation. She went home and told her son about me. And then the other was their therapist was in my presentation, or at least I'm not even sure if she was at my presentation, to be honest. I know she was at the conference, and then she told this couple about me, and they ended up signing on as clients. And then one was actually at the presentation, and this is fun because he was at the presentation last year, and he's coming to Anaheim. So, and he's paid off like $150,000 this year as we've been working together. And so, yeah, medical school debt. Actually, I should say dental school debt, to be more accurate. And he's going to be in Anaheim. And so it'll be fun to be able to reference him at the beginning of the presentation and say, hey, we just wanted to give a shout out to this client of mine who's paid off this huge amount of money in this year as we've been working together. So, yeah, I get clients from other coaches who refer neurodivergent people to me. Instagram is a big one for me. I've gotten a few bites from Facebook, but not too many. So I would say Instagram's probably the biggest one for me, and then referrals from other coaches.
And then what is your Instagram?
It is the @ Your Neurodivergent Money Coach.
Oh, awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
And then I think that referral clients are like the best, because basically whoever is referring them to you is basically giving you a testimonial, which is super powerful. It helps people trust you and know that they can count on you to help them. So yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's actually I've gotten 2 clients kind of that way. The one client I was talking about, who we spent 6 months categorizing transactions, referred one of her friends who didn't end up sticking around, but it was still nice that I got a referral that, at least signed up for coaching. And then the original client also had a friend who is a therapist, and the therapist referred one of her clients to me.
Okay.
So, and we worked together for a while too. So that was pretty cool.
That's really cool. Really cool. And it's good that you're putting posts on Instagram, because at least you're still getting your name out there, still getting your messaging out there, so then people can look you up and be like, okay, I want to work with her. So yeah, that's really awesome.
I also have, because people will go to my social media and then they'll follow me, and then they'll jump over to my website. And if you go to my website, at least right now, process to sign up will probably be changing soon, but you can get a free bill tracker off of my website.
Ooh.
So if you're having trouble keeping track of your bills and you prefer pen and paper, you can try that. And then if you sign up for that, then you'll get 7 emails, 7 days in a row from me. And then after those 7 emails, you'll get a free financial tip every Tuesday. So
Cool.
yeah.
I like that. I think I'm gonna have to go check that out myself.
You should.
Yeah, I will.
There.
That's awesome. And what is your website?
It is bermanbudgeting.com.
Okay.
So
Awesome. I just want to make sure. Just want to make sure everybody knows where to go to find that right now, because that is super helpful. And speaking of helping, what's usually like the most common thing that you help people with, like the one tip or something?
Probably the biggest thing I see across like all of my clients is failure to plan ahead. So I always ask them, do you have a car? Okay. Are you saving for car maintenance on a regular basis? And most of them say, well, kind of, sort of, I've got $30 over here. It's like enough for a set of windshield wipers, but not enough for an oil change. And so you work on that. This time of year, the big one is Christmas. So we are taping this. I hope you don't mind if I say this. We're taping this on November 4th. And so Christmas is what, like 6 weeks away? 7, maybe?
Yeah.
So if you haven't started saving for Christmas and you're watching this, on December 23rd, maybe it's too late. You just got to be really careful. But if you're watching this in January, you now have 12 months until Christmas. And if you want to spend $600 for Christmas 2025, just put $50 a month into savings and you'll have the $600 you need by December.
There you go. That's a great tip. And it's a great tip that I should do. Usually, like, Christmas comes around, it's like, all right, where can I pull money out of? So I make it work,
See, and that's exactly what I said, is a lot of people fail to plan for those expected larger irregular expenses.
Yep.
Like car maintenance, vet bills is another one that catches people a lot. That's, why they end up with credit. Even medical bills. Nick, I know you and I have our fair share of medical issues. So it's like you pay your copay when you go to the doctor, but then you get this like $400 bill later and you're like, where did this come from? And you go back and look at your explanation of benefits and I'm like, yeah, sure enough. Yep, I guess that did cost me $400. And then you're like, well, where am I going to get that from? So if you know that you deal with, bigger health issues than the average person, make sure that you are saving every month into a medical bill savings account, whether that's actual FSA or HSA or just a savings account even, so that you're earning a little bit of money on that, or a little bit of interest on that money. Then you'll be ready for when you do get a bigger bill. Like I woke up this morning to a text saying, hey, you have a statement from the local hospital because I've been seeing a physical therapist all year. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I have a $200 bill to go take care of for one appointment. And so that's not an issue because I know what I get charged for appointments. I've been seeing this physical therapist for almost 2 years now. And so I know what my insurance covers. I know that, hey, by the point I had that appointment, I hadn't met my deductible yet, which means that I have to pay the larger amount. But that appointment was like 6 months ago. So I already have the money to pay for that appointment in savings. It's just been sitting there earning interest for me, just waiting for the hospital to say, okay, we'd like our money now.
Yep, exactly. And they always won't want their money.
They do, and it's going to annoy me to no end that they won't be done billing me by the end of 2024. So we're going to end up paying 2024 bills in 2025, but we can't use our FSA dollars from 2025 to pay 2024 bills, which means that it just has to come out of our savings. So
That's
I'm
annoying.
ranting now. Don't mind me.
Hey, that's annoying, and that's good for everyone to know too, because I personally didn't know that. I haven't dealt with that myself, but yeah, it's good for the audience to know. Like, you can't use that money from 2024 into 2025.
Now, I will put a caveat in there because you are allowed to roll over a certain amount. I think it's like $500 or $600.
Okay.
In an FSA, HSA, it doesn't matter because HSAs, you get to keep that money no matter what. It's just FSAs have this weird, like, you put this money in, like it was $3,200 this year for a family, and you can only take 500 or so of that 3,200 into 2025.
Okay.
But it is something to start watching this time of year. If you still have more in your FSA in November and December than you're allowed to roll over, that's going to be a little bit of a problem because typically what happens is anything over that rollover amount goes back to your employer, even if it was your own money.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So like what happens is we have a certain amount held out of my husband's paycheck each month or every 2 weeks to go into the FSA, which his employer fully funds at the beginning of the year. And so then we kind of pay them back by his paychecks the rest of the year. And so, if we had more than that rollover, whatever was above that rollover amount, they would get to keep, even if it was technically like out of my husband's paychecks. It would go back to be paying them back for money that we had them hold for us, but they paid at the beginning of the year and then we didn't use it. So it is technically kind of their money. Like it's a little weird.
Kind of. Yeah.
Rollover.
Some of the ways things work, I just don't agree with, but hey, we just gotta deal with it, right?
Yeah, it's a little weird, but hey, it is. Once you know the rules and you can play within the rules, then it's like, okay, we just have to know what the rules are, then you can play within them.
Just like taxes. It's better to know the rules, and then you can play the rules, and it will help you out.
Yeah. I'm just laughing because I actually did get a letter from the IRS this weekend.
I got one a couple weeks ago too, so I messed something up, but we'll get that figured out. Yeah,
there was one form that my accountant says that they filed when they made my LLC back in 2022.
Sounds like you're dealing with the same thing I am. Yeah. I'm the one that forgot to submit that form.
Whoops. 2-3 or something like that.
Yeah, something.
When they start sending out those letters, huh? So taxes don't. I'm scared of taxes. That is like the one realm of finances, other than investments. Investments kind of they don't scare me, but they're
okay.
It's very intense to me, and it's like I don't know. Like I worry about making the right choices for investments. We actually hired a financial advisor to deal with all our retirement accounts and one retail account we have. So yes, I am a money coach, but I do hire financial professionals to help me out with the aspects of money that just make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's the taxes and the investments, that can get a little tricky. I hired an accountant. I was like, I don't want to deal with it, so you just do the taxes and all that, and I'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, well, this was really awesome, and I do gotta ask the question. I know you answered it before, so maybe this time, you can focus it more around, like, your clients. So, my slogan is, your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
Ooh. Your abilities are infinite. I would say that I'll just go back to what I said earlier. That money and budgeting is a skill that everybody can learn. The way you have to learn it might look different. But I strongly believe that everyone can learn some way to manage their money.
I agree. Awesome. And then, is there any last words of wisdom you would like to leave with the audience?
It's never too late to start a budget. Even if
There you go.
you're 72 and already retired and living on a fixed income and you feel like everything's out of control because you're having to live at least partly on credit cards, it's never too late to get control of what's going on.
I agree. All right, Stephanie, thank you so much for being on the show again, and maybe we'll even do another one.
No, that'd be great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me here, the Nick Heart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth, help more people. Alright, everyone, remember, your abilities are infinite. This episode of the Infinite Abilities Podcast is brought to you by the one and only Infinite Toolbox, where just like all other toolboxes, we will get the job done, guaranteed. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to save time, boost revenue, or automate your processes, Infinite Toolbox has got you covered. With powerful tools designed to drive leads, expand your reach, and gain your industry secrets, we help you work smarter, not harder. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Visit us at infinitetoolbox.com. That's infinitetoolbox.com, and discover how infinite your potential really is.